RX93.1 presents the Concert Series. Live musical performances at the Monster Studios by today's artists. The Concert Series. Your host, Rico Robles.
Good evening, Monsters. How you guys doing? Welcome back to the Premier Live Musical Program on radio. This is the Concert Series only here on the Monster. I'm your host, Rico Robles. The part you clap, audience, clap. Such enthusiasm. Tonight's guest is a rising star whose journey, well, let's just say intertwines with passion, purpose, and indomitable spirit. Hailing from a line of Philippine music legends, she is carving a name for herself in the music world with her own voice and talent and music that resonates with fans all over. Jayda started with her debut single Next, or Make It Text, that is, in 2018, followed by the EP In My Room, which included the fan favorite track, Happy For You. Little over a week ago, she released her much anticipated album, Sad Girl Hours. It actually has a little mini film as well. We'll talk about that in just a bit. A deeply personal concept album that chronicles the emotional journey of growing pains and healing and the lessons that come with heartbreak. I'm going to pick through that again later. The album is a must listen for anyone who has ever had to mend a broken heart. We'll talk about that some more in just a bit, but first, here's a performance from our most recent guest. Here's Over October on Front Act.
Monster RX 93.1.
Thank you.
Yeah, the concert series, you're live.
Hi.
We're here with Jayda. Hi, Jayda.
Hi,
How you been?
Rico. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's been a while.
I know. It's good to be back. Wait.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on,
You just got to turn
All
off the
right.
monitors for no feedback. We have you live. You know, the last time we saw each other, it was an album launch, I think.
Yes.
That had a full band set
yeah,
up.
my Republic Records
Yeah.
launch. Yeah, last year.
That was cool.
Yes.
Now you had a mini movie of some sort?
A short film, actually, that I had basically for this album that we're about to talk about today for Sad Girl Hours.
Sad Girl Hours. I've been
Yes.
seeing this online. Nakita ko yung mga posts mo. You're hanging out with love, talking about sad stuff as well.
Yes.
You know, the journey of your music, of course, you started very young.
Yes, I did.
Everybody knows your mom and dad, but, you know, are singers and great singers at that. Now, on your own right, what we love about it is that you're creating your own name.
Thank you.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, that's
So-
always been the goal. So.
And the songs that you performed today, like Slow Burn, you wrote that yourself?
Yes, I did.
What's the inspiration behind that?
So this song, I really wanted to tackle in what dating is like in this generation,
Mhm.
really. So like, you know, there's just so many instances of like situationships where people don't really know what they have going on.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of, you know, that question that we always tend to ask ourselves, if, you know, this is like a slow burn kind of love that's developing, or is it just really a waste of time? Like, where is this actually going?
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Sipin mo, dati 15 ka lang. We're talking
Grabe,
One Direction.
Grabe,
No?
15 years old ako dito for when I was on RX for the very first
Yeah,
time.
and
And
then-
I just want to say, of course, like take this opportunity to always thank you guys for always being so supportive of me and my
Anytime.
music.
As long as you know you have great music, you
Thank
have your
you.
stuff, you bring it here, and you'll be here on the Monster. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
it, and I haven't spoken to you in a really long time.
She would
so-
message. She'd be like, "Yo, I got a short film coming. Can you guys come?
I
Tell your other
know.
co-DJs." Gail hosted
Yes.
it. By
Yeah,
the way.
she did. Shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah.
Gail.
Now the journey with it, with Slow Burn, when you first wrote your song, and you know if it's about heartbreak and
Mhm.
dating, how
Yes.
did your mom and dad feel about it?
How did they feel about it?
Because you know when you write your stuff, that's 100% you
Right.
putting yourself out there,
Yes.
right?
Well, the way that they felt about it is, I think what I'm really appreciative with my parents is like they're very supportive of me, and they're
Mhm.
able to, you know, look at me through a very objective lens. Actually, like whenever we talk about music and things like that, it's always like from one artist to another,
Mhm.
rather than like parent child kind of thing.
Which
Of
is
course,
cool.
Which is cool
Yeah.
because, you know, we speak the same language,
Mhm.
and they really understand what I'm going through.
Who's the critique? Your mom, your dad?
My dad.
Your dad. Is it the stage presence? Oh, Jayda, medyo, I think you should do
I
some
think it's just
pyrotechnics here. you
well,
know.
pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. Well, both of them have their inputs, but my dad, like, as I like to joke around, he's like my Simon Cowell.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And that's cool, though.
Yeah,
right?
like, I mean, it's good to have that somebody looking at it from an even more objective lens,
Yeah.
and with a constructive criticism to help me grow and things like that.
And it is pushing you to a certain out of your comfort zone kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Now, for you working on this album, who did you listen to? Was there any certain specific records that you were listening to?
Yeah.
Or were you just zoned out? You just gone through the heartbreak and
Mhm.
just write it and just see what comes
I
out
think
of
it
it?
was a bit of both,
Mhm.
actually. But definitely, I've always had my influences. I mean, number one would definitely have to be Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
I've always appreciated like her very diary-like narrative approach to songwriting.
Mhm.
So she was definitely my number one inspiration when it came to this. And I think I really just listened to a lot of those personal pop records, the ones that specifically changed my life, which
Yeah.
are like 1989 by Taylor Swift, Multiply by Ed Sheeran,
Mhm.
Teenage Dream by Katy Perry.
Katy Perry,
in a
of
sense,
course.
I think those will always be the influences that I'll carry.
Mhm.
Like if you ask me like what are the top 3 albums that changed your life, I would say
That would
those
be
3.
it.
And I definitely wanted to channel that into that, and just like generally me being a lover of like singer-songwriter
Mhm.
stuff and knowing that that's my core. I think that's what I wanted to showcase with this album is my core as an artist.
It's a
and
singer-songwriter
vulnerability. Yes,
that you are.
It's really, that's what it's about.
So you write the songs, you play guitar, you play piano.
Yes.
Do you do it yourself or you have like a mini band going, I want this sound? You know. how
So
does it
the
go?
way it generally really starts is my process is I always start with the concept.
Mhm.
I always ask myself like the question, what is it I want to talk about in this song? Like,
Mhm.
kung ano man yung concept ko. And I really start with that, and then I start with chords
Mhm.
generally.
So
Like,
you have a DAGA.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a very organic songwriter. I like to start off with writing on guitar or piano because I
Mhm.
feel like if the song sounds good, if it sounds good in that state, then it means it's a good song.
Mhm.
So I start with that, and then usually I work in with a producer, and then I like to be there in the session or in the room
Mhm.
when we choose like sounds to really build it, because like for me, I feel like the production helps tell the story of
So
the
it's a
song.
complete. You're there from ground, from the
Yes.
ground up,
Yes,
as they do say.
100%.
Now, when you're performing it, I mean, you perform in ASAP from time to time.
from time to time.
So when you perform your songs, you're recording it, you're hearing it, then you have to perform it on a bigger stage,
Mhm.
bigger platform.
Right.
Do you get nervous?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like nerves are actually really healthy if you
Mhm.
look at it. Like I've worked with different vocal coaches, and I was told specifically with the one that I worked with, his name is Richard Fink. He told me like you can really harness those nerves to your benefit, if that makes sense, because the fact that you're nervous, it means that you care. You
Yeah.
care about giving a good performance and giving the audience a good show. So that's really where it stems
Uy.
from. And then
Learn
it just
something new,
turns
huh?
into exciting,
Yeah.
excitement rather.
Mhm.
So
So are you gonna start doing choreography, dances, people lifting you?
yeah,
It's all about production numbers, right?
Yung pa-lifting, gusto ko yun.
Diba?
Hindi, pero honestly for me, like, it's definitely on the horizon, I would
Mhm.
say. I mean, obviously right now I'm here promoting this like new record, but I just know like moving forward, what I'd like to showcase is myself as like an all-around pop
Disco
artist.
diva Jayda.
Disco diva.
Right? Disco diva Jayda era coming your way. All right, but for this one, it's not all heartbreaks, is it? Is there any happy songs in here?
Well, there's actually one.
Mhm.
There's one song that's a little happy. There's another one that's like sentimental. I feel like so it's a concept album. So it really showcases or details my journey from healing from like all the heartbreak and my core as an individual, of wanting to be loved, and then how I've grown from
Marami
that.
naman nagmamahal sa'yo.
Really
Parang
good.
ganun, so
Yeah.
they love me. But you're 21 now.
Yes, I
So
am.
this is that big step to adulthood. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Especially when you're in Los Angeles where she frequents. So we'll talk about that journey there and also what's in store for you when it comes to after this album, what are you going to be working on. We'll talk about that in just a bit. All right. So we're going to hear
Right.
some more songs from you.
Definitely.
Okay. What are the
definitely.
next songs you got for us?
So right now, I'll be singing songs off of my new album, Sad Girl Hours. It's actually
Alright.
one of the first few times I'll be performing some of these songs.
Hey, check
So this is an RX exclusive,
Hey,
of course.
alright.
But yeah, for this next song that I'm about to sing, this is a song, like I said, like I talked about, what is my core as an artist and just as a person. And being a sad girl, it's the fact that we all just want to be loved.
All right, so here we
So-
go. We got it live. Ladies and gentlemen, more
Yeah.
music from Jayda, now the concert series.
Hey Monsters! It's Kayla Rivera. To catch exclusive versions of songs played on this episode, visit the Monster YouTube channel at RX931. That's youtube.com/RX931 and listen live on air on FM radio Mondays 7 p.m. on Monster RX93.1. Now back to the concert series interviews from the Monster.
Thank you. The winner is... Hey, Jayda, that was a great song. Galing,
Thank you so much. Thank you,
the
Rico.
transitions from Tagalog to English, what is it that you cannot do?
Grabe ka naman. I mean, there are, of course, tao pa rin naman.
Right? Galing.
Thank you, though.
One thing that I want to ask you is that, you writing your own songs, ano yung pinaka-painful line that you've ever written? That's one. Two, in which emotional situation you were in, na it was so painful or confusing that you couldn't write anything about it?
Pang Miss Universe yung mga katanungan natin ngayon. I love it. But I guess when it came to the most painful line that I've written, I mean, it's, I guess in AM, one of the lines there, like, I guess you said that we were a perfect team, but then you switched up and turned your back on me. That's one. Or just like the whole chorus of AM, or probably like I watched as we turned to nothing but a memory. A safe place turned bleak when you told me you would never leave.
I know, I felt that.
Yeah, just like stuff like that. Or if like in Right Lover on Time, that whole bridge of kung ito na ang huling mga sandali, gusto kong makapiling ka. Kung pwedeng baguhin ay gagawin ko upang mapaglaban ng pag-ibig na
So
ito.
nananakit ka in English and Tagalog.
Tama!
Grabe. And when you were writing your Tagalog,
Yes.
who was helping you out? Ikaw lang? Mag-isa?
So my dad is actually my co-writer for Right Lover Wrong Time. Because like, fun fact, so Right Lover Wrong Time started out as a fully English song. It was called Right Lover Wrong Time. And then when my dad heard the demo of it, sabi niya sa akin, like, this would sound really beautiful in Tagalog. So we translated it together. And then also for actually the next track that I'll be singing later, I have one more song. We also wrote that one together actually from
Is this the first
scratch.
time you've worked with your dad for those two songs? Or you've worked with your dad previously?
I've worked with him previously. For a lot of my Tagalog songs, I worked together with him.
How is it writing with him? Is it like more of anak? So tell me this story about this line. Huh? Are you ganun siya?
Honestly, he doesn't ask.
He doesn't
a
probe?
lot.
He
He doesn't
doesn't-
probe
no,
about
no.
that too much. You'd be surprised. But I think it's also because he looks at it from the lens of, I guess, being an artist again, like I said. So when it comes to that, I guess like when we write together, it's really about, I think he's one of the people who really encourage me to really think about what it is I want to say with the song. And he always lets me take charge and lead in our writing sessions together. Kasi nga parang yung sinasabi niya is, at the end of the day, kanta ko to, kwento ko to.
Yeah, it
So,
represents who
yeah,
you
so it
want.
represents me. It represents me in my artistry. So I should be writing to what's true to me. But to answer your previous question, actually about
That
has there-
confusing, emotionally confusing that you couldn't quite put the right words to put it there.
Definitely, I get that all the time. I would say, well, it's a form of writer's block for sure, and that's so normal. There were some songs off of this album that it took a while to write. Specifically with next song I'll be singing, that one was actually particularly hard to write. It came to a point na nag-breakdown ako kasi hindi ko alam kung paano ko siya isusulat.
So you took time off, you did your own thing, then you come back to it little by little.
I wrote it the next day after I had that like breakdown from the pressure of, I guess, writing that song. Because I was asked to, by my A&R at the time, like, Olivia, she's my creative.
Olivia, right
Yeah.
here with the camera on my face. How you
Yes.
doing?
But yeah, so I was asked to write like a follow-up to Right Lover Wrong Time, the song that I just sang. And she wanted it to be in Tagalog. And so for me, there was like that pressure of like wanting to follow up Right Lover Wrong Time with another like Tagalog track. And I knew what I wanted to say with this song for this next song in particular. And I knew that I wanted it to be about, because like in a story, of course, there has to be growth and progression and a journey. And at some point from all of the heartbreak, I had to move on. So,
And that's a good part.
of course,
So-
yeah. And I think it was about, so I wrote that particular song about the final phase of moving on, which is letting go and forgetting. So it's like I was holding on to like one more thing.
Na sana.
Yeah, like it was that feeling of Basically, to make the long story short, there was this thing, like this letter that I actually got from this particular person. And ako kasi very sentimental akong tao. And I kept that letter with me for so long. And one day I couldn't find the letter. And I was going like crazy looking for it. I was like, what? And then I really kind of took a minute and thought to myself, bakit ko ba hinahanap yung wala na? Ba't hinahanap ko pa yun? So
Ba't ka ganyan, Jayda?
when I thought of that, I realized that, oh, I guess I really am in the final stage of moving on, because this is really the only thing that's really holding me back right now, is this last
Memories
thing
of the past.
the memories of the past. And I realized that at some point, like, I have to make peace with that song is about peace and making peace of that that person or these people. Like I have it represent all of the people I've lost during the course of making of this record, is that, you know, I have to make peace with the fact that they're not in my life anymore.
Parang acceptance.
Acceptance siya. Yun yung parang concept.
Is it more therapeutic when you sing a heartbreak song that you've written and perform it over and over? Or do you find it medyo nakaka-torture minsan when you're singing it over and over because you're reliving the emotion over and over
That's
again?
actually a really good question. I love it when people ask me that. Because for me, I feel like totoo naman yun that I do relive the experience, but for me, I find it somewhat empowering as well, because I'm able to connect with people through my pain, and I'm able to hopefully make them feel a little less alone with the help of my songs. And just, I find it empowering that I've managed to turn something so painful into something beautiful. So for me, like, even if I do relive it, like, I don't see that as a negative thing, because the reason why that it is painful is because it mattered to me.
Wow.
So
Galing
yun.
Kaya kung sinasaktan ka, okay lang yan because that person mattered.
Because that person
moment.
mattered. The reason why you feel those feelings is, syempre, na-disappoint ka na it didn't turn out the way that you hoped it would. But I feel like this album is really about realizing that sometimes, like, you know, things really do happen for a reason. Like, some people just aren't made out, who aren't really who they're made out to be,
in
if that
your
makes
life
sense.
as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
And people change, so I feel like it was making peace with that. And to me, in a lot of ways, I see this album as like a healing, a guide to healing, a healing journey of someone who's been through it.
So if you listen to this, you're heartbroken, you listen to the whole album, by the time then you'll be healed, you'll be happy, and you'll be able to
my
move
last
on.
2 songs on this album actually are really about healing and realizing that sa sarili mo lang talaga mahahanap yung forever mo.
Okay, a lot of
Yun.
quotable quotes on this show. Now, you know, Jayda, you're 21 now.
Yes.
You're Los Angeles based from time to time.
Yes.
Do you plan to transition to do the entertainment in America, or is it Philippines, America, both ways?
It's really both ways. I think right now it's really about, because, like, I guess the market is really changing nowadays from people I've talked to over there. Even it's really interesting how people are really outsourcing from outside of the US to really bring global talent to the main stage, and I really love that movement. So for me, it's really just a matter of, like, that's always been the dream of me, as you know. We've always talked about this, but
to go across
me,
the seas, all over the world,
wherever the opportunity really presents itself, like, I really just welcome it. But of course, like, for me, if an opportunity presents itself there, I would definitely grab it. So,
okay. You know, for those that are tuning in and you're watching online and you're listening to us live, we have Jayda. She is joining us here on the concert series. Now, you know, girl groups are in.
yes.
You know, you have Beanie, you
Right.
have, of course, Cat's Eye. If you
Eye.
were to
Love
form a girl group right now, who would you want to be in it?
Who would I want to? Which girl group would I want?
If you were
be in?
to form a girl group,
Oh.
if you know, they're like,
Oh,
okay, sabi, you know, your label goes, Jayda, uso ang girl group. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna go to this direction, girl group. If you
Okay.
were to get members, who would you want to be a part of your girl group?
That's so interesting. That's a good question. Who would I want to be part of my girl group? I mean, can I join a pre-existing?
Go for it. If you were to join the girl group now,
I would love, like, you know, I'm a big fan of Cat's Eye, actually.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I do their dances.
Yeah,
for
you do
fun,
that. You do
so,
that too. You
Yeah,
think too?
touch or, like, actually debut.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, them. But you know who's actually pretty cool as well. G22.
G22. Yeah, they're
cool.
fierce.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
from the same label as well.
Okay, okay.
And they're really nice girls.
Yeah, and they're tall.
Yeah,
Very
they are.
tall.
And then we have the same styling team as well. So I
Okay,
feel like that
okay.
would make a cool collaboration.
Collaboration with that.
Yeah. I
But
think
if you were to have like your K-pop groups, I mean, who do you enjoy if you were to join one? I know you've been meeting a lot of people
I
lately.
have been meeting
So
a
who have
couple
you
of
been meeting, and how was that reaction when you meet them? How was your conversation with them?
Well, just like with artists in general, not necessarily limited to K-pop, but so recently I met Lauv. I also met Johnny Orlando, Lauren Spencer Smith, and Ij from Day 6, which is a Korean group. Yeah, my manager is a very big fan of his. Shout out to Ij. But yeah, so Jay. And I think it's just been such an exciting time because these are all artists that I've had the chance to not only just meet, but actually share my music with them and have them react to a couple of my songs. So Love reacted to...
So how did Love react to Heartbreak, your songs
Yeah,
about
Slow
Heartbreak?
Burn.
Yeah,
Yeah, so actually the way that started was, so we were scheduled to do a content shoot together, which we did. And then it was such a nice conversation because we had an icebreaker, of course. Like I was telling him that I'm from LA as well. And then what was so cool was, so the fun fact, the song Slow Burn, so that song was actually like production-wise, it was inspired by a love song called Mean It with Lainey.
Okay.
And so I shared that with him. I said, I just want to thank you, Ari, for like really inspiring the production of my song. And then I asked him if he wanted to hear it because like he said that he'd be down.
And
so
you had it on your phone.
I had it on my phone very conveniently, and it was still an unreleased track. And then so I had him hear it, and it was so nice. I got his feedback on it, and then after our content shoot, it was something that he really did, which was really nice of him. He had me hear an unreleased song of his, and he asked me for my thoughts on it. And I just thought that was just such a beautiful exchange from, I guess, one artist to another. And we just really talked about what it's like being an artist in the industry nowadays. And I just find it so amazing when I can find common ground with all of these artists, these global artists really, and just be able to share the journey with them. And what I love about the creative industry is parang lahat tayo, we speak the same language, you know.
Regardless of what.
We go through the same struggle. We have our own set of struggles, and I thought that was really nice. But
now, you know, when it comes to production as well, you're working with, who's your producer for your record?
So his name is Shad Yelchan. Shout out to you, Shad. And of course, Jovel Rivera as well. He's an up-and-coming producer. This album of mine is actually the first album that he's ever produced for
and they're Baguio-based?
Yes, they are Baguio-based. And that was so interesting. One of the things that I did for this album was go out of my comfort zone and work with these like new sets of people, and the way that it just fell into place was so amazing. And I'm just so grateful that I got to work with such talented people who really understand my vision. And syempre nagpapasalamat din ako sa kanila because they were just really patient with me throughout the process, especially because I'm a very particular artist and down to T. Like I appreciate
like
them so much.
So OC on everything on the.
I would say my attention to details is
yeah.
very
Well, that's what makes you a great artist.
Thank you. Yeah,
You
of
know?
course. Like for me, I love getting their inputs as well, and I trust their expertise. But what I really appreciate is like the dynamic of exchanging of ideas to make what makes the song better. At the end of the day, we all have the common goal of just making our art better.
You know, Sir Rafi, our president, was saying she has improved so much. Ang
Really?
galing.
That
I mean, you know,
means a
seeing
lot.
you come here a lot and perform. You know, now that you're 21, now that you're writing your own songs, you have your producers. Where are you now in the stage of your career, you think?
I think right now, I would go as far as to saying that it's really a reintroduction of me. In a way, also reinvention of sorts. I think I really look at it as a new chapter where people will really get to know me on a very personal level and get to know my core. I think, you know, for the past like year, I've really, you know, like, and that will never change. I think like I'll always have the showbiz side and the celebrity side, which is, you know, a given for me, and I really embrace that still. Like I have, hindi ko pa naman siya parang tinatalikuran all together.
So saka na muna yung drama. Dito ka muna sa singing
Parang
about it.
gusto ko talaga yung the idea of, I guess, showcasing my art, which has always been my passion from the very beginning. So ayun, I see it as a reintroduction for me, and hopefully more breakthroughs.
More
and things
music.
like that. Yeah,
so
definitely
next
more
year,
music.
let's project it now. Next year, you're in California, invited to the Grammy Awards.
Oh wow!
Receiving
That's
your very
crazy.
first Grammy, Breakthrough Artist of the Year.
Yeah,
What will be your speech?
What will be my speech? Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'd say, but gusto ko yung parang na on the spot na talaga ako dito. But I think I would just really start off by saying, like, if that really
Thank
were
you,
the
Carl,
case.
for my hair.
Yeah, thank you, Tito Carl, for my hair. That's actually true because he did color my hair. But yeah, of course, I would thank my team, Republic Records, my management team. Shout out to my prod team, Toothless, and my creative director, Olivia, and just like everyone who is involved from the process of this, from this album, from Shad and Javel, and just to everyone who's bet on me on this journey. And I would say that, like, I hope that this is a sign that this is something that I can give back to you guys and really help bring light to the growing, I guess, global music community. I hope I'm able to make that impact. So
Congratulations.
thank you for this award. Thank you.
Take it home to the Philippines.
Yes.
You'll have a motorcade. First Grammy.
The motorcade.
Right?
Oh
Along
gosh.
Ayala Avenue. So you're going to leave us with one more track.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that we should look forward to, throughout
Definitely.
the year? Is there a concert for you? A big show?
Yeah, so I'm actually leaving for the US really soon because I'm actually going to be going on tour with my parents.
Hey, nice.
In the US.
Saan kayo? Sa Pichanga?
Sa Pichanga. So sa Seattle.
Seattle, okay,
Seattle and Vancouver and Calgary. So yeah, that will be the Sa Aking Puso world tour or North American tour for my parents, and I'll be there, one of their guests for that tour. So yeah, for the next few weeks, I'm gonna be there with them, and it's gonna be a really good time. So sa lahat ng mga nanonood from Canada and Seattle, I hope you guys can come and see the shows over there. We have 3 shows there. And definitely keep streaming my album, Sad Girl Hours. There are a lot of things in store still with this album. More live performances and music videos, and maybe a little special something before the year ends.
Hey, watch
Maybe
out for
a
that.
collaboration of
Okay,
sorts.
okay.
So yeah, you guys can definitely watch out for that. And of course, I would say, like, share it with a fellow sad bestie. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh, thank you for the reminder. Yes.
Somebody
and for
whispering here.
Yeah, someone's whispering on the side. Yes, I'm gonna be live at the Cozy Cove in Baguio,
In Baguio,
actually,
okay.
on September 13, this Friday. I'm gonna be with Arthur Miguel, Nobita, and Jose Miguel. So it's gonna be a really good time. It's my first time performing at the Cozy Cove. So sa mga taga Baguio dyan, or yung mga gustong umakyat, I hope you guys can come and see the show. Like, you won't want to miss it. So
All right. So there you have it. A very packed schedule. So she's going to leave us with one more song. What's the
Yes.
title of this?
So this one's called, like, I've been talking about it. This one's called Lumimot Sa'yo.
And then what's the inspiration behind this?
So this was a song, like I said, about the final stage of moving on, and it's about acceptance. And I feel like in a lot of ways it feels like the resolve of the album. There is one more track that comes after Lumimot Sa'yo on the album, but for this evening, I would like to say that it's really definitely the song that represents how much I've grown throughout my journey of healing. And it's about, the realization of finding peace within yourself and choosing yourself. Na the realization na dapat piliin mo yung sarili mo.
And
So,
thank you for taking us through this journey.
of course,
All
thank you,
throughout,
of course,
alright?
for the platform, and
You know
thank
what I
you. It's
mean?
always
So-
a good conversation with you.
Yeah.
Rika.
So you leave us with this song, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. Let's give it up once again for Jayda.
Let's do this.
The concert series. Live on the Monster.